Today I've got something a little bit special, a little bit different for you. This is the Handy Heater. This was the very first product I ever reviewed on my Freakin' Reviews YouTube channel. And I even did this part 2 a couple months later. Now, I stand by my results of those videos, but they're not very good videos. So what I'm going to do today is, number one, I'm going to do an additional test that I never did the first time around, which I wish I had done. Second thing I'm going to do is kind of a reaction video to some parts of my video. So without further delay, let's get right to the reaction and 2-year later test to the Handy Heater. All right, here we go. I've never done a reaction video, and I'll never do it on YouTube. All right, I'm gonna chop out some of the boring parts. Here's my reaction. I've only seen this video once since I originally posted it. So here we go. This was an intro that I actually used to do on an old channel. I would do the fast motion opening and unboxing, and the music I think my cousin actually threw together for me on a keyboard he bought. And there's my wedding ring, not married anymore.
Today I'm reviewing a product by the name of Handy Heater. There it is.
Okay, the hat on backwards. I don't know why I did that. I never usually wear my hat like that.
It's advertised as a space heater that plugs into the wall.
Oh, I'm wearing a Fitbit too.
Its features are that it has an adjustable timer from 1 to 12 hours, high and low settings, and you can set the temperature you want.
Yeah, I had filmed some videos on other channels. I'm not going to tell you what those channels are, but I had filmed some older reviews, and that's what some of these techniques are from. I hadn't really gotten my on-screen camera persona down quite yet. I wasn't real comfortable in front of the camera, so I was a little bit stiff, a little bit dull. This scene goes on way too long.
And I'll come back and check.
All right, here's something a lot of people give me grief about. Like, well, that's a warm bathroom anyways. You're trying to raise the temperature. But if you have a temperature setting on there that goes up to 85, you would think you could raise the temperature in an enclosed bathroom by 1 degree. Never happened. So I still stand by that, although I'd probably do it differently now. In fact, I did it differently in my part 2. I did it out in the garage. Got grief for that as well, but you can never win with these people. Look, I put it to 90.
It did kick back on. I'm thinking that maybe the internal thermometer might be off a couple of degrees because it shut off. What it said was 80 and my thermometer.
I think that that's still correct. Out in the garage where it was cool the whole time, it never shut off, but in a warmer bathroom and higher temperatures, it seems like it has problems.
It shut off. My thermometer said it was 78 degrees in the bathroom, but the Handy Heater had a reading of 80. So I don't know if maybe the internal thermometer is off.
I think it's off.
Or if it just keeps shutting off. It doesn't have a full 360 range of motion. It basically has 2 positions, one way or 180 degrees. So you couldn't put it sideways and have it lock in place. There's a lock.
Oh, I forgot that the prong actually rotates supposedly. But I've never used that feature ever. So I don't think it's very useful.
There is a very slight smell, kind of what you would expect from a hairdryer.
I still have that smell too. It does have that hairdryer smell, which I don't think is dangerous. But 2 years later, I'm still getting the smell.
Well, it's been 15 minutes and the Handy Heater has shut off again. I have it set to 88 degrees and a 1-hour timer. And I only show it.
I look like I just woke up from a nap right there. I think I did. I look very tired. Why do I look so tired?
In a different space.
Oh, I like the nose scratch. I would never have that in there now.
With a wall and the medicine cabinet next to it. So I'm going to try it in a different area and see if it doesn't shut off like that. I can feel the heat. It's pretty warm.
This is the test I'm going to be expanding on in this video.
About 2 feet away.
To see how far the range is.
One more issue that I should point out is that when the fan shuts off, the heating element stays lit. It's still red hot and the fan's not blowing. That cannot be a good sign.
That's not a heating element. That's actually a fake heating element, an LED light.
You'd think the heating element would go off first and the fan would continue to blow to cool it off, but that's not doing that. It's still red hot. There's no fan blowing.
It wasn't red hot, that's an LED light. For some reason they decided to simulate an LED light in there. I don't know why they would do that, because it makes you think that it's defective. The controls seem a little bit confusing, like the
high and low don't always seem to work. So when you turn it on, it starts off at 85 degrees and on high speed. And there are times where it doesn't seem that the low will work, while other times low does work. It does seem to shut off.
I never use low and high. I just leave it how it turns on.
Thinks that that's just the way it's supposed to work, but it does shut off regularly. And I don't know if that's a defect in the unit that I received.
It only shuts off in warm air. It doesn't shut off when it's cool.
About that in the instructions. The instructions do say
over about 65 degrees, I start having to shut off. Under that, it doesn't.
Automatically turn the unit off after a set amount of time, but it doesn't tell you what that time is. It does say later that it will shut off after 12 hours. I'm not sure if what I'm experiencing is related to this automatic feature that turns it off after a set amount of time. So I would say the Handy heater is probably not as efficient as other space heaters.
Definitely not.
Even though it might be more compact and plugs into the wall, I'm just not convinced the design and the construction are really up to the same standards of other space heaters that I've looked at in the past.
I would agree still.
I suggest buying it locally so that you can evaluate it, and if it doesn't work for you, you can return it without having to pay any shipping or
That's my advice on everything.
costs. Personally,
Buy locally.
Handy heater would not be my first choice of a space heater. If you used Handy heater, tell me what you thought of it in the comments below. Handy heater is distributed by Ontel Products. And
I think they're the third biggest ASEAN TV company.
If you like this review, I would appreciate a subscribe. This is a new channel for the Freakin' Reviews network. So
I use the word network because I had 2 websites back then. I don't anymore, so it's not a network.
Any request reviews, I would be happy to hear as well.
Well, that music's terrible. That music is awful. All right, so what I'm going to do now is expand on the one test I wish I had done, which is to test the distance and how far away the heat continues to travel. So let's head out to the garage and see how far away the heat from the Handy heater actually reaches. All right, here I am right next to the boneyard, and I've got my first Handy heater test 2018. So I've got this thermometer in front of it, and this one will also measure, it's supposed to be an indoor-outdoor thermometer. So this measures indoors, that measures outdoors, but in this case I'm going to put them in the same room. I don't know why this one's showing 2 degrees cooler than this one. Not really sure about that. But I've put the Handy heater on this crate so it has some airflow below it, because that's where the air flows out on the bottom. So if I had a flat surface, it could block the flow. So what I'm going to do is, first one is going to be a point blank right up against it. Maybe not touching it, but that close. And I'll move the outdoor thermometer over here so it's kind of out of the way. There's no airflow over there. And we'll see how warm the Handy heater actually gets. Okay, there we go, point blank. I'll let this run for a couple minutes and see how well it does. All right, let's check what we got here. Oh, 106. 106. Not too bad. That's point blank though. So obviously if you put this right next to your hands, you're gonna be nice and toasty warm. It's been about here about 7 or 8 minutes. Oh, it just jumped to 109. It just jumped to 109. I'm gonna let it sit a little bit longer and see how high it goes. I'll come back in about 10 more minutes. All right, seems like it's stabilized at 126, so I'm gonna move it over here. All right, I'm putting it here because the flow of air is a little bit higher, so I'm putting it right in the direct line of airflow. It's still at 126. Give it a few minutes to adjust, and we'll see what it goes down to at 1 foot away. See, it's already dropping. After that, we'll keep going back farther and farther until we don't get any reading. And it's cooling down here. There's only 64 inside. Let's see what the 1 foot does after about 10 minutes. All right, let's see here. It's been almost 20 minutes. And it has dropped down to 89 degrees at 1 foot away. I don't think it's going to change much more from there. So I think when you're a foot away, you're still toasty warm. I do feel it. It feels nice and warm. Now let's go back to 3 feet. Let's try 3 feet. Now I'm at 3 feet away. I can't feel it where it's blowing at all. I actually don't feel it at 3 feet away. So let me see. This is the angle, so it should be right about here. Okay, I'm in line with it. It's about the right height for the angle it is blowing at, so let's try 3 feet about 15 minutes from now. It was at 87 when we left off. I'll be curious. Last check at 3 feet. This is the last distance test I'm doing. It's only 63, 3 feet away. So I don't know if you're going to try to stay warm. This may not be the way to do it unless it's right on top of you. Before these were a little bit off. It may be 1 degree difference. I don't know. But at 3 feet, it's not too impressive. 1 foot is impressive, not 3 feet. All right, guys. So it's kind of a fun video, something different for me to do. I never really reacted to my own video before. So it's kind of fun to see how much my channel has changed and how much I've changed on camera since I made that video 2 years ago. But I still stand by my conclusions. I think that if it's in a warm room, it tends to shut off more often. If it's in a cool room, it doesn't. But other than that, if it's right on top of you, it works, but it doesn't generate enough heat to really warm an entire room. I've never had to do that. But if I'm working, my hands are cold, I might have it sit right next to my hands and it works. Otherwise, I don't expect too much from it. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. And if you've used a handy heater, tell me what you think in the comments below. See you next time, guys.